Welcome to the Raven Quick Start Guide for macOS. In this video, we will walk you through configuring the hardware and the software for your Ravens. Let's begin. In the box, you'll find the Raven touchscreen, revitalizer spray with microfiber cloth, a power supply, a HDMI cable, a USB cable, a quick start guide, and a software voucher to download the software. To connect the Raven to the computer, first plug in the USB cable, HDMI cable, and power supply into the Raven. Next, take the HDMI cable and plug it directly into the HDMI port of the graphics card. Then, take the USB cable and plug it directly into a USB port of the computer. If using dual Raven and the computer does not have another HDMI port, users will need to purchase a HDMI to mini DisplayPort adapter. This adapter can be used to convert the HDMI to mini DisplayPort, which can be plugged into the Thunderbolt port or the mini DisplayPort of the computer. Connect the HDMI cable into the mini DisplayPort adapter and plug it directly into the computer's graphics card. Then, take the USB cable from the second Raven and plug it directly into the USB port of the computer. If the computer doesn't have enough USB ports, users will need to purchase a USB hub. Do not use an unpowered USB hub, as the touch panel of the Raven is powered completely by the USB bus of the computer. We recommend purchasing a powered USB hub. This will be sure the touch panels have enough power to operate smoothly. To connect the Raven to a computer with Thunderbolt 3, users will need a Thunderbolt 3 USB-C hub to connect the iLok and the keyboards. Take the HDMI and plug it into the HDMI port of the computer, and the USB should go directly into the USB port of the computer. If users have a Thunderbolt 2 interface, they will need to use a Thunderbolt 2 to 3 adapter to connect the interface. If using dual Ravens, users will need to buy an Apple multi-port adapter. Plug the HDMI and USB from the second Raven into the multi-port adapter, and then plug the adapter into a free Thunderbolt 3 port of the computer. To power on the Raven, push the top button on the back right of the Raven panel. If the Raven has power, users will notice a green light on the front. If this light turns orange, that means there is a problem with the connection in the graphics card of the computer. To adjust the contrast and brightness of the Raven, use the menu button on the bottom of the panel and the up or down arrows to navigate the submenus. After the HDMI and the USB cable have been plugged directly into the computer, we're ready to register the software using the passcode card that came in the box. To do this, navigate to my.slateaudio.com and set up an account. Please note, if you already own some Slate Audio products, use those credentials to log in. To set up an account, type in your email address, and password. Now type in your name, country, and zip code. Then hit complete registration. Now in our email, we'll need to confirm our email address. Here's the email here, and we will click here to verify our account. Now let's log in. After being logged in, users will see you can add your product registration code here, but before we do this, we are going to link our iLok account. To do this, click here, type in your iLok user ID, and hit verify. If users don't have an iLok account or iLok ID, go to ilok.com and you can set one up here. Please note, if using an iLok ID that is registered to a different email address, users will need to confirm that email address so the licenses are deposited in the correct account. Hit OK, and now go into the email address of the iLok ID. You'll see the email here, and you'll see the code R02. Copy the code, go back to my.slateaudio, paste the code, and verify. Now that the iLok account has been verified, we can redeem our passcode card and iLok license. So go back into your main page and hit Add Products. Type in your passcode here. Hit submit. Next, users will need to choose the DAW to be registered and activated. Every Raven comes with one DAW license. Now that the products have been added to our account, hit OK and enter the Raven product page. Download the installer. While that's downloading, users will want to activate the iLock license to the machine or dongle. Open up the iLock License Manager software, and in the Available tab, you'll see the Raven license. You can right-click it and choose Activate. Now users can choose whether to activate the license to the machine ID or the iLock. I will go ahead and use the iLock. Now that we've completed activation, it's time to install the software. Navigate to your Downloads tab and install the Raven software. Please note, on Catalina, users will want to right-click and choose Open. When prompted, hit Open again. Next, hit Continue to run the Raven installer and type in your password. Now, the Raven is going to install the Raven software, vControl Pro, and UPDD touch driver. After the Raven software has been installed, users can hit Close, keep the installer, and now go install the UPDD installer. Continue and install and type in your passcode. Users will now notice UPDD has asked for some system preferences. This will allow the driver access to the system. To do this, navigate to the Security and Privacy tab and click the lock. Type in your password, and here, users will want to be sure to hit Allow to allow UPDD access to the system. After allowing UPDD access, we will need to allow UPDD accessibility. So hit the Open Accessibility here, and in here we'll want to check on UPDD and UPDD Commander. While in this Accessibility tab, let's add a few other applications. So hit the plus button, add in the DAW, add in the Raven software, add in Automator, also vControl Pro, and finally Terminal, which is in Utilities, Terminal. Now we can remove these error messages and start using the Commander. Now that the touch driver has finished installation, we are ready to configure the touchscreen. To do this, click the hand icon in the menu bar and hit Identify. Now push and hold on the screen until it turns blue. Users can also check more touch settings if you go into the console, and here we have all of the options, and we can calibrate the screen. Run Calibrate, push and hold all the blue crosses, confirm that touch is working, and exit. Now that we've calibrated the screen, we can confirm touch works in the Test app here, and we can confirm it works on the desktop. One finger drag, one finger push and hold is a right click, double tap, and in here, two finger drag will scroll up and down, rotate left to minimize, two finger double tap should open up all your applications. To set up the Raven with Pro Tools, simply hit the Open button next to the Pro Tools icon. The Raven will now launch Pro Tools and the Raven toolbars. Now users will notice touch is working on the Raven, however it's not controlling Pro Tools. So we will need to set up the peripherals for vControl Pro and Raven to talk to Pro Tools. To do this, go to the Setup tab, MIDI, Input Devices, and we'll check on the box for vControl, XT2, and XT3. and hit OK. Next, navigate to the Peripherals tab, and under MIDI controllers, we will set up 3 ports of HUI. Then in the Receive From column, we will set it to vControl, the Send To vControl. For the second bank, set vControl XT2. And for the third bank, vControl XT3. Be sure to leave this fourth bank empty, as the Raven is set to work with 24 faders. Now hit OK, and we will notice the stop button is pushed down. And now we can play and stop to control Pro Tools. Here we can add a couple tracks. Now many DAWs allow you to customize the key commands, but Pro Tools has its own default key commands. However, for some of these key commands to work, like the track navigation, we'll need to enable keyboard focus. Now, our key commands will work in Pro Tools. Also, it's best to have link edit and timeline selection enabled so that the track you touch becomes selected. And users may also want to turn on tab to transient and turn off automation follows edit. Now we will need to align the Raven internal mixer with the Pro Tools mixer. As if users open the Raven mixer, you'll notice our Pro Tools mixer is over here, and the Raven mixer is expecting it to show up here. So to easily do this, we'll go to File, Import Session Data, and in your Documents folder, in the Pro Tools, Session Templates, Raven Templates, we will select the window configuration for our Raven setup. We're doing single, so I'll select MTI single. I'll check the box for window configurations, hit OK. Now click the Window tab, Configurations, select Mix. Now you see our mixer is automatically moved to the correct location, and our meters have snapped in, and we are aligned with this red line. If your windows get moved around and some settings change, just go back in the window configurations, select the window configuration, and it'll all snap back in. Now, one great thing about the internal mixer is that it syncs with the Pro Tools track colors, but we will need to enable Pro Tools track colors. So you can double click the top of the track, or you can go into the Window tab and select the color palette from here. Next, turn on the track colors, turn the saturation up, hide that window, and now you see our track colors are syncing with Pro Tools. If we change this color to yellow, the Raven internal mixer is now yellow. Now we have multi-touch faders in Pro Tools. Now there's a couple more setup options we will need to set up in Pro Tools. One is in the Preferences tab, under Mixing, we want to set Always Fill Channel Strips when banking. Now this is very important, as Pro Tools will continue to bank although there's not any tracks left. Let me show you. So now if we bank, you'll see Pro Tools banked and left an empty channel, and the Raven didn't bank according. So if we check on Always Fill Channel Strips when banking, now when we bank, it all stays aligned. Another setting in the Preferences tab is going to be your default EQ and Dynamics. Click on the EQ, set that. Click on the Dynamics, set that. Now your batch commands for adding plugins will work correctly. Another option, users should set up your favorite plugins. To do this, hold down Command, click and Insert, and select a plugin from the list, now this is one of your favorite plugins. Please note these are different between mono and stereo tracks. So be sure to set up your favorite mono and stereo. We recommend users set up 5 favorite plugins, as the plugin chain batch commands will utilize these favorite plugin list. Now, a great feature in Raven 3.6 is dynamic gestures. Gestures automatically load with the DAW in the Raven toolbars and have already been mapped to all our favorite key commands in the DAW. So for Pro Tools, we can access our tools with a 4-finger drag down for the cursor tool, 4-finger right for the pencil, 4 left for zoom, 4 up for the universal tool. So I can select my cursor tool with a 4-finger down, make a selection on the timeline, and with a 3-finger drag down, I could zoom in vertically, 3-finger right, zoom in horizontally, 3-finger left and up to zoom back out of the session. You could also bypass plugins with a 2-finger double tap. And we can edit too. Make a selection, rotate left to break it, rotate right to mute it. You can hide or show plugins with a 5-finger squeeze or a 3-finger tap. One of the best key commands is undo. Do a 3-finger double tap to undo. And to group these tracks, do a 4-finger pinch to group. Now they're all grouped. If you want to suspend the group, 4-finger splay, 4-finger splay again to activate it. Another gesture is a 1-finger drag from the left side of the screen will make a new track, and a 1-finger drag from the right side of the screen will toggle your automation modes. Now, if users would like to customize these gestures, open up the dashboard. In the settings, open up the gestures. Now we will take a 2-finger tap, set it to keystroke, spacebar. So now a 2-finger tap will play our session. Hide the dashboard, 2-finger tap, now plays, and stop. This makes it easy when auditioning and not having to move your hand down to the play button. Now to save this new gesture we have mapped, we just have to save our Raven session. I prefer to make a new folder for all my Ravlets, and I prefer to date them so that I know the last date they were worked on. Now that this Ravlet has been saved, we want this to be our user default and open with our gesture settings and our layout every time we open the Raven. So we'll go back to the dashboard and we will hit the Set User Default button. Now this layout with these gestures will automatically load every time we load up Pro Tools. I'll hide the dashboard. We have our custom gestures. If users would like to customize the layout, hit the Customize button, and you can drag and drop your favorite batch command panels on and around the layout. The Customize button again. Now save the layout, save the Raven session, and finally set it as user default to write all of those changes to your user default. Another new feature in Raven 3.6 is the Favorite toolbar. This is a floating palette that saves globally across all of the layouts. To customize what goes in this favorite palette, hit the Customize Toolbar button and drag in your favorite batch commands to this favorite toolbar. Hit the Customize again, save your layout. Now go to Layout 2 and take your favorite batch commands from Layout 2 and drag these into your favorite toolbar. Save the layout. Go to Layout 3, take your favorite batch commands from here, drag these in your favorite toolbar, save the layout. Now, no matter which layout we're on, we'll always have our favorite batch commands in our favorite toolbar. A new option in the Raven dashboard is the option for modifier latch. In the settings, turn on modifier latch. Now when you hold a modifier on the Raven, it'll latch until all of your selections are made, and then simply turn off the modifier. This is very useful when making edit selections. Hold down Shift, make a selection, selection, and turn it off.
The Raven software application has the option to choose between two mixers. The first is called the external mixer labeled Extern Mixer. This is our own skinned mixer application that floats on top of Pro Tools. The other mixer is called the internal mixer labeled Intern Mixer. This integrates directly into the Pro Tools mixer seamlessly. To align the Pro Tools mixer with the Raven internal mixer, confirm the track list is showing by clicking the track list button on the bottom left corner of the Pro Tools mix window. Note, you may need to hide Raven and move the Pro Tools window to access this button. The Hide Raven button is located on the bottom left of the Raven toolbar. Next, maximize the Pro Tools mix window by using the green button on the top left of the Pro Tools window, like so. We will now need to confirm the correct number of inserts and sends are displayed on the Pro Tools mix window to properly align the Raven mixer. Under the View drop-down on the Pro Tools menu options, go to Mix Window Views option and confirm the following are checked. For MTX users, we recommend inserts A through E, inserts F through J, and sends A through E, a total of 15 rack spaces. For MTI users, we recommend inserts A through E and sends A through E, a total of 10 rack spaces. Note, if you prefer to show inserts A through E and F through J as an MTI user, this is completely acceptable. However, just be aware that MTI users have access to 10 rack spaces and MTX users access to 15 rack spaces at a time. Details on accessing all of your inserts and sends on both consoles is covered in the Batch Command System section of the Raven User Manual. Again, confirm the track list on the Pro Tools mix window is showing, and now click the side of the track list with the mouse and drag the displayed shadow inside of the provided red guide, as displayed here. Confirm alignment by ensuring the tracks are seamless between Pro Tools and Raven, and confirm that the meters and track colors integrate directly into your Raven mixer. This alignment is detailed to the pixel, so a minor misalignment will result in an alignment failure. Be sure to align accurately before proceeding. This is an example of a proper alignment. This is an example of misalignment. The Raven faders are precise, smooth, and reactive with 5 millisecond response time and with support of up to 12 simultaneous multi-touch points on the MTX, up to 6 on the MTI, and up to 10 on the MTI2. When mixing, I don't even have to keep my finger on the fader. It's easy to grab multiple faders from all over the console and control them however you feel comfortable, and you can do this without looking at the screen. On the external mixer, the pans are rotary. On the internal mixer, the pans are linear, meaning they can be modified by moving vertically as displayed. The Fine Faders button allows for as little as half dB automation and moves easily because I can quadruple the resolution. To adjust the response of the Fine Faders, simply push and hold the Fine Faders button on the Raven toolbar and move the slider left to right, 1 being slowest and 20 being fastest. You can also activate the Fine Faders feature to specific tracks. Push and hold the dB display on the mixer and the single track will turn yellow, indicating Fine Fader mode. Press and hold again to remove just one track or double tap the Fine Faders button to remove them all. I can bank tracks by swiping on the lower third of the fader plate, using one finger to bank one track or 2 fingers to bank sets of 24. Note, if there are less than 24 tracks in the direction you're swiping, the Raven will not bank. You can use one finger to continuously bank in the desired direction, and Raven will continue until you stop. In addition to gesture banking, we've included banking buttons located on the Raven toolbar that can be toggled between 24 tracks and 1 track at a time. Push and hold either of the banking buttons like so to switch between the 2 variations. The icon palette is designed to encourage visibility and organization. Press and hold the black square beneath the track name on the Raven mixer until the floating icon palette appears. We've included a few tabs of new default icons as well to allow users to upload their own icons for use in their Raven sessions. Details on saving Raven sessions is explained in a later section of this video. To place an icon, touch to select the image and it will highlight yellow. Then either tap the icon space where you'd like to place the image, or swipe across multiple tracks to add the image to more than one as displayed here. To upload an icon to the palette, press the Browse button on the bottom right of the icon palette. Locate the image you wish to upload from the file browser and load it. The image is now located in your User tab on the icon palette. To place it, follow the same procedure as explained previously. With the Raven External Mixer, open a plugin by hitting the INS button next to the Record button on the Raven Mixer, and select the plugin you wish to open from the floating window. Now, just reach out and tweak the actual plugin controls. To close the plugin, we've included a gold touch button located on the Raven toolbar labeled Close Plugin. Always use this when closing a plugin, as the close buttons on plugins themselves are too small for touch. Once the plugin is closed, you can use this again to quickly recall the last plugin you were working on by hitting the button again. There is also a Hide Floating Window button on the Raven toolbar that will toggle on and off all last used floating windows, including sends and surround panners. This button functions similar to the Close Open Plugin button. However, it is for all floating windows, including the memory locations and automation windows. To initiate a plugin from the external mixer, hit the INS button and touch a No Insert rack from the floating window. Once your empty insert appears, load from the empty Pro Tools insert window by navigating through the drop-down menus. Press and hold the plugin insert, and without lifting your finger from the screen, move through the drop-down menus like so. To select the plugin, confirm your finger is over the listed plugin and the menu item is highlighted, and remove your finger from the screen. The plugin will load, and you can demonstrate making a tweak to the plugin like so. With the Raven Internal Mixer, open a plugin by touching an existing plugin on an insert rack as demonstrated, and again tweak, close, and recall the same as demonstrated previously. Loading plugins from the menu is done by holding your finger down on an empty insert rack and navigating through each of the drop-downs without lifting your finger until you've reached your desired plugin. Be sure that the desired plugin is highlighted and your finger is over it like so before lifting your finger to select the plugin. When adjusting plugins, note that most function by linear adjustment. However, Slate and other developers will offer plugins with multi-touch rotary capability in the near future, such as the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack. The Raven External Mixer has multi-touch access to the A through E sends. Touch the Sends button to flip the Raven Mixer to the Raven Sends. Here I can tweak my sends as well as my multi-touch rotary send pan knobs. I can select multiple tracks with a swipe. I just hit the black Command Modifier button, labeled CMND, on the Raven toolbar and glide my finger across my desired tracks. I can quickly select all tracks by toggling the black Option and Command Modifier buttons and touching any track. I can solo or mute a bunch of my tracks by swiping my solo or mute buttons. I can even skip a few tracks by moving my finger below the buttons and then continuing to swipe, easily skipping my undesired tracks. On the external mixer, I can change my automation by swiping. I can change one track or multiple tracks. On the internal mixer, I can change my automation by choosing from the drop-down menus like so, or use a batch command to change any selected tracks all at once, or to choose an automation with just one button. Details on the batch command system will be covered later in this video. Use the Edit Mix button on the Raven toolbar to move to the Pro Tools Edit window. Here you can adjust how many Raven toolbar racks you would like visible and adjust the size of the edit window accordingly. You can activate the multi-tool by pressing two fingers on the Trim and Select buttons on the Raven toolbar at the same time, and this will be indicated by turning the Trim, Select, and Grab tools yellow. All of the tools on the top of the Pro Tools window are easily accessible on the Raven toolbar. When there are multiple variations of a tool for one button, simply tap multiple times to scroll between types of tools. Watch me move different types of pencil tools. On the Raven toolbar, we've included the Flip toolbar buttons on the bottom right of the Raven toolbars, which allows users to move between the three main toolbars on each layout. To use, I'll hit the Flip toolbar button, which opens a floating menu with my up and down arrows. Now I can use the arrows to move through my toolbars. To close the Flip toolbar mode, you'll need to use the Flip toolbar button again to deactivate the floating window. I can use my finger to easily grab regions, fade, move, and I can even use my fingers as the pencil tool to draw an automation. I just change the automation to Volume, select my pencil tool from the Raven toolbar, and draw. On the Raven toolbar, there's a nav pad designed for the toolbar, as well as a floating nav pad. Both function the same to navigate through one session. On the nav pad, the track zoom toggle is selected. I can quickly zoom in and out of my track with one finger swipe on the nav pad. Simply move up or down, left or right to control the size of the track. To adjust the size of all the tracks in the session, I simply toggle to Track Zoom All by again touching the Track Zoom toggle button. Now, with the same up or down, left or right motion, I can control the size of all of my tracks at once. Select the Waveform button to adjust the size of the waveform, again with one finger in the up and down motion. Using two fingers on the nav pad, I can scroll through the session up or down, left or right. You can also scroll through the session with two fingers anywhere in the edit window, like so. You can also select Scrub or Shuttle. With the desired button selected, just swipe left or right with one finger on the nav pad. When using the nav pad, you're not confined to the rectangular area around it. Activate the nav pad by touching inside the rectangle and then freely move outside of the designated area without lifting your finger from the screen. The nav pad is also capable of adjusting its response specific to the user's preference. Go to Settings on the Raven toolbar and press the nav pad response button. Adjust from 1 to 20, 1 being the slowest response and 20 being the quickest response. We have set the nav pad to default on regular movement settings. However, we have now included the option to invert the direction response by toggling to Inverted on the nav pad response window in Raven settings. The Raven software is completely customizable. Simply hit the Customize Toolbar button on the right of the Raven toolbar, and you'll be able to freely relocate your controls to a custom design, and even save each customization as different layouts by hitting the Save Layout button and selecting a layout number you wish to save to. The layout is now saved to that number and can be quickly recalled at your discretion. You can have up to 8 unique layouts per Raven session and unlimited Raven sessions, allowing you unlimited layout capability. When saving your Pro Tools session, we've included a touch button on the Raven toolbar that will save your Pro Tools session information. We've also included a Save Raven Session button. This button saves a .ravlay file anywhere on your computer you choose. A Raven session contains information about what your layouts look like, which windows are displayed, where your floating tools are located, batch command location, and contents, and even session icons saved. When making changes to layouts, it's important to save your layout changes separate from the full Raven session. After changes have been made to a toolbar on a layout, hit Save Layout, and then overwrite the current one by touching the highlighted layout. You'll see the Save Layout light turn off as a confirmation of its saving. Once your layout is saved, you can save your Raven session. These multicolored and/or gray buttons are batch commands. The batch command system is a series of single buttons that can execute up to 1,000 key commands, menu selections, and mouse clicks. The Raven software comes equipped with over 80 preset batch commands. However, it is also very easy for you to create your own and even share them with other Raven users. In Raven settings, hit the Switch Default Layout button to select between various types of preset default layouts we've created for you that specialize in specific workflows. Blank is as it sounds, an empty layout for you to customize and save from scratch. Basic is the layout that will load when the software is first opened and restored to factory default. Here we've created 4 layouts that provide a basic approach to the batch commands to get you up and running quickly. Music is designed for music production. Post is designed for post-production, and mastering is designed for mastering production. To program a batch command, push and hold one of the batch command buttons. If empty, the menu will appear blank. However, if you are overwriting a batch command with previous programming, hit the Clear All button in the batch command menu, and the button will be ready for programming. To enter a key command, hit the Key Command button on the batch command menu, and then enter your desired key command. To the right of the key command on the command line, you can add delay to the key command prior to launch or even add a number of repetitions you would like the command to perform before moving to the next line in the command sequence. As an example, let's make a batch command that will create 5 new audio tracks. Hit the Key Command button and enter Shift-Command-N. Repeat this command 5 times by entering a 5 in the space for number of repetitions to the right of the command, and then again hit the key command button and type Enter on the keyboard's number pad. Now, I'll name the batch command 5 new audio tracks and give it a color by touching one. To save this batch command for future use, I hit the Save button. It's now located in my User tab to quickly recall later. To lock in this custom batch command into my Open Batch Command button, simply hit Confirm on the batch command menu, and now try touching the batch command and watch it create 5 new audio tracks for you automatically. In the batch command menu, you can also access preset batch commands as well as the custom batch commands you've saved. Touch the QUICKLIST button to open access to preset mouse click and menu items to program into your command line. Let's create a batch command that will add my favorite vocal plugin chain to my selected tracks and save it to our QUICKLIST User tab. First, hit the QUICKLIST button and in the search bar on the top, let's type Mix Window to Front. Touch Mix Window to Front from the list and hit Select. Next, search Show Selected Tracks and select it from the list. Now let's search for Add Favorite Plugin. Let's select the following. Add Favorite Plugin 1 on Insert A, and then Add Favorite Plugin 2 to next insert rack. Close the QUICKLIST. Let's name it Vocal Plugin Chain, give it a color, and hit Save, and then hit Confirm. Now let's put it into action. Simply select the tracks you wish to add the vocal plugin chain to, and hit our newly created custom batch command and watch it do the work for you. We've created tons of great preset batch commands across your layouts, and I've also shown you how to customize your own batch commands using key commands and QUICKLIST items. Another really powerful feature to the batch command system is the ability to record your own custom mouse clicks. Push and hold a batch command to open the batch command system programming menu. Now we'll hit the record button and watch the batch command system record your mouse clicks and key commands in the sequence you perform them. Once completed, hit the record button again and name your new batch command. This will save to your User Recordings tab for later use as well. Now I'll just add my new recording into the batch command line, give the button a name and color, and hit Confirm. Now, watch my new custom recorded batch command perform a key command and mouse click. Not only can you save custom batch command scripts, but you can also save entire batch command panels to easily relocate them across your layouts. Push and hold the batch command panel's label until a dialog window appears. Here you can name and color code your batch command panel, and save them to your QUICKLIST by hitting Save. Hitting Save will locate your saved batch command panel to the QUICKLIST here. You can see the name and size of the saved batch command panels here. To add a saved batch command panel to an empty batch command panel, press and hold the label area of the batch command panel until the dialog window appears and hit QUICKLIST. Search and select the batch command panel you wish to load and confirm the size of the panel matches the QUICKLIST item selected by reviewing the size column. Once confirmed, hit Select. Now, just name your batch command panel and give it a color. Then hit Confirm. Importing a batch command is simple. In the Batch Command System menu, hit QUICKLIST and select the User tab from the top. Now, hit the Load button and locate the .ravbc file on your computer. Select the file, and Raven will import the file into the User tab. Exporting is similar. From your User tab, select one of your saved batch commands and hit Export. This will save the file to your desired location and can now be shared with other Raven users. To go through our batch command for Pro Tools Basic Training, click here. For a comprehensive coverage of the basic preset layout, please review the user manual and videos located in Raven Settings here. In addition to the Raven toolbars, we've also included 2 fully customizable floating tool palettes. The first of the 2 is called the Floating Toolbar, and the other is called the Essentials palette. Both are designed for adding a select group of tools for managing screen real estate. I can add tools by, again, customizing my toolbar. When the tools are arranged on one or both of my floating tool palettes to my preference, I hit Customize Toolbar again, and my layout has been saved. I can then toggle them on and off by hitting the Floating Toolbar Essentials buttons on the Raven toolbar. The floating mixer is your direct access to multi-touch faders and pans in the Edit window. The floating mixer offers the same capabilities as the Raven external mixer, including the ability to swipe automation, solos, and mutes, and even adjust the size of the window itself by hitting the addition and subtraction buttons on the top left of the floating mixer. I can even gain access to my multi-touch rotary pan knobs by hitting the pan button on the top left of the floating mixer to toggle between automation and pans. The Raven software requires the following minimum computer requirements to function properly. Raven will not work on operating systems earlier than 10.7 OS X Lion. Mac Pro. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend computers produced after 2010 with a minimum of 2.3 GHz of processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the Intel HD 4000, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. MacBook Pro and Mac Mini. On the MTX and MTI, we recommend a computer produced after 2010 with an i7 processor operating at a minimum of 2.3 GHz processing power. A graphics card with a minimum of 512 MB of VRAM, such as the NVIDIA GeForce GT 330M, and at least 4 GB of RAM. However, 8 GB of RAM is recommended. We are available for you to answer questions or comments Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via our online support help desk, slatesupport.com. From all of us here at Slate, thank you for your attention, and welcome to the future of Studio Control.